You are beside a fire while a hunter cuts fresh meat. You did not hunt it. He puts a heavy strip in your hand. There is no price tag, wallet, receipt, or Venmo request for 12 berries. Look at your empty palm. It is holding dinner, but it can also hold something you cannot see, a debt. It is 20,000 years ago. What did humans use before money? If you said barter, fish for shoes, anthropology has bad news. Barter was real. It just was not the beginning. The story most of us learned is wonderfully simple. You have fish, I have shoes. You give me 3 fish, I give you 1 shoe, and both of us spend the afternoon wondering what happened to the other shoe. Then barter gets annoying. The shoemaker wants grain, not fish. The farmer wants a spear, not shoes. Eventually, everyone agrees to use something useful. Salt, shells, silver, cattle, and money is born. Coins arrive. Banks arrive. Your banking app arrives and asks you to rate the experience of being charged a fee. It is a beautifully clean story. Human beings were not that clean. In 1985, Cambridge anthropologist Caroline Humphrey opened the ethnographic record and went looking for the society that was supposed to sit at the bottom of this staircase. A whole community living by barter, slowly discovering money. She found barter. People trade directly all over the world, including now. What she did not find was the missing first step. A documented barter economy naturally growing into money, exactly the way the textbook story says it should. Barter was real. The neat staircase was the questionable part. Because the first economic problem inside a small human group was rarely, how many onions is this rabbit worth? It was, who needs food tonight? Who got lucky today? And who will remember me when my luck disappears? Start with that meat in your hand. A large animal is an annoying kind of wealth. It arrives all at once. It spoils. One family cannot finish it before dinner becomes a biological threat. And hunting is unreliable. Today you return with more food than you can carry. Tomorrow you return with a stick, a bruised ankle, and a very convincing explanation. So you pass meat to the family beside you. They eat before it rots. 3 days later, their trap works and yours does not. This time, food moves back toward you. Nobody stops the meal to calculate whether 1 strip of antelope equals 6 future handfuls of tubers. Nobody asks for a receipt. The value is not sitting on the meat. It is sitting between the people. Researchers can still watch versions of this kind of sharing among contemporary hunter-gatherers. That does not turn anyone alive today into a frozen Stone Age exhibit. These communities have their own histories, markets, neighbors, and problems. What they show is simpler. Humans can run a difficult economic life without pricing every bite. Among Hadza children studied in Tanzania, family ties affected who shared and how much. But sharing did not stop at the edge of the family. Reciprocity appeared across most observed sharing pairs. Imagine being the child who found food today. You can eat it alone. Or you can pass some across the camp and become the child other people remember tomorrow. You are not purchasing an exact future meal. You are building a small circle that makes an unlucky day less dangerous. Now move to Agta communities in the Philippines and Bayaka communities in the Republic of Congo. Researchers drew lines every time food moved from one household to another. The picture did not look like a row of tiny shops. It looked like a web. Food moving inside families, between close clusters of households, and across the wider camp. One good day in one home could soften a bad day somewhere else. Children got fed. Work got shared. Risk stopped landing on one pair of shoulders. Among observed Aceh families, a huge part of what a household ate came from outside the nuclear family. Not because everyone had forgotten the idea of mine, and not because every meal was a perfect act of kindness. Need mattered. Family mattered. Reputation mattered. Sometimes demanding your share mattered. Mine and yours were still there. They were simply wrapped inside ours, later, and you owe me one. Try stamping that on a coin. One side says 1 piece of meat. The other says, maybe your cousin helps me move camp in 3 weeks. This is why calling all of this a gift economy can also sound too friendly. A gift may be generous. It can also be heavy. If your neighbor keeps feeding your family, no invoice slides under your door, but a relationship does. It arrives with memory attached. You already live inside this system. A friend buys dinner. Your sister watches your dog. A coworker covers your shift. Nobody opens an auction and bids 3 hours of dog care against 1 bowl of pasta. You remember. Before the ledger was clay, the ledger was people. That works while everybody knows everybody. Then the group gets bigger. The person giving you grain is not your cousin. A boat carrying wool leaves for months. A temple collects rent from fields, stores barley, pays workers, and sends merchants far beyond the last familiar face. Memory needs help. In ancient Mesopotamia, people pressed obligations into clay. A shekel could be used as a measuring unit, even when no little round shekel coin existed. A worker might be owed a value written in silver and receive barley. A field might carry rent recorded in the same unit and be paid with oil, wool, or days of labor. The silver number helped compare unlike things. It did not mean a silver coin had to bounce across the table. That sounds strange until you open your banking app.
The number on your screen is not a tiny pile of coins trapped behind the glass. It is a record telling a system what you can claim and what you owe. The Mesopotamian version was heavier, easier to drop on your foot, and much worse at Face ID. Silver and grain gave administrators a common ruler. Wool is not work, barley is not oil, but each could be measured against a shared standard, written down and settled later. Notice what happened. Money did not need to begin as an object passing from one hand to another. It could also work as a way of counting obligations. The debt could be real before the coin was. Barter still had a job. It made sense when strangers met and wanted one clean exchange. You hand over the goat, I hand over the grain. Nobody needs to remember anybody's cousin. It also becomes easy to notice when money breaks. A currency collapses. Cash disappears. Two people start swapping useful things again. Barter is not always a primitive system waiting to discover money. Sometimes it is what people do after money stops working. That leads to the second myth. Someone invented money in one glorious moment. There was no single morning when one clever person held up a coin and everyone else finally understood economics. Different communities combined different tools. Food could be shared, a favor could sit in memory, cattle could store wealth, grain could pay a worker and then become lunch, shells could carry status in one valley and mean almost nothing in the next. Silver could price a shipment even when the payment arrived in something else. Coins were a powerful upgrade, but they were late. Long before rulers began stamping metal into guaranteed pieces, people were already weighing silver, pricing goods, recording debts, and arguing about who owed what. The stamp made value easier to recognize. It did not invent value. It made authority visible. And that is the uncomfortable part for you. Money feels like the solid floor underneath modern life.
You can touch a banknote. You can watch a balance rise. You can stare at a rent payment and feel part of your soul leave through the screen. But underneath that number is the same old machinery. Trust, memory, power, obligation, and the belief that somebody will honor a claim later. Your salary is work now for payment later. Your credit card is dinner now for money later. A government bond is money now for more money much later. Splitwise is a clay tablet that sends passive-aggressive notifications. The technology changed. The sentence did not. You owe me. Go back to the fire. The hunter has placed that strip of meat in your hand. There is no price scratched into it, no exchange rate, no coin, but it is not free. It carries a memory of yesterday, a claim on tomorrow, and a relationship neither of you can close by tapping Pay Now. Before money lived in pockets, value lived between people. And once those obligations became wages, schedules, and jobs, daily life changed again. The video on screen shows what humans did all day before anyone could put a price on an hour of your life.